Charlie Norwood was a very successful dentist in my hometown of Augusta, Georgia. I didn't know Charlie at that time because I had long since moved away. But as a practicing physician in Marietta, Georgia, as an OBGYN, several years ago I went to the annual meeting of the Georgia OBGYN Society to hear Dr. Charlie Norwood talk about the Patient Bill of Rights. Physicians across Georgia and across this country were concerned with managed care and HMOs and liability and that sort of thing. And Mr. Speaker, when I heard Dr. Norwood speak to my colleagues, the physicians, about this issue, and them in turn, including myself, give him a standing ovation, I want to tell you, Mr. Speaker, and I never did tell Charlie this, but that was an inspiration to me to want to someday have the opportunity, and thank God that I did, to follow in that walk that he walked. What a great member of this body, and what a fierce competitor and a Mr. Speaker. As my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, a distinguished John Lewis, knows well, that Charlie would fight for something he believed in, but in a very respectful way. And he thought about others before himself. An example, Mr. Speaker, is that just in this last election cycle, when Charlie was suffering so much, as Representative Deal has just mentioned, he didn't think about himself. He won his re-election with 67% of the vote, and it wasn't that he couldn't campaign because of his illness. He was working all that time for another colleague in a very competitive district. He was essentially running that other campaign. That's the kind of guy Charlie Norwood was, and the kind of fellow that we'll all remember here on both sides of the aisle in this great House of Representatives. He was a friend, he was a colleague, he was a fighter. He was a fighter for patients' rights. He was a fighter for students as his work on the Education and Workforce Committee, the Energy and Commerce Committee. He's somebody that we can all emulate. And I just want to say to his wife, Gloria, to his two sons, Charlton and Charles Jr., and to the 4 grandchildren, and to the Norwood family, we are praying for you. We want to uplift you. We will be with you tomorrow. But we know, as you do, that Charlie is in heaven right now, and God has accepted him in open arms and saying, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." And I yield back.